The ScanNCut has a draw tool, and today in this video I'm going to show you how I'm using it on a stitched felt craft. So the first thing you want to do is get out the tool and insert, in this case I'm using a pencil, and you just want to insert it in this little holder to make sure you're at the right depth to properly draw. Once you've done that, you can get out your ScanNCut and you can put it on in there, and this should work in any of the ScanNCuts as well. You're just using the same little blade holder, except you're putting the drawing tool in there instead of a blade. So now on to pattern. I'm using a heart because I have Valentine's ideas in my head just for decor. I think this is going to be a really fun piece, either in a shadow box or a pillow. And I'm selecting a heart, and I'm selecting multiple hearts. And I know the heart itself is a little hard to see in this video. I didn't want to be darkened in my editing. But anyhow, multiple hearts, and all I'm going to do is line them up so that some are bigger and some are smaller, and that they are all, I'm using the grids right there on the screen to line them up so that they're all centered and nesting one inside the other. And I can use this little tool here to get really precise. You could also go on Canvas Workspace online and do it on there. By doing that, you will have a little more control and a bigger screen, of course, but it works just fine here. I'm just lining up and moving over so that all of them are lined up to the same center line, so that when I go to draw this, all of the hearts the centers are aligned. And why do I care about that? Because I'm going to be making an ombre heart here. So my vision is that, press the draw and then press start and go. My vision is that I'm going to use these lines to help me determine where to start my next colors. And to help me even further, I'm taking some thread, and the lines are very faint on there, but they're definitely there. But I'm using some colorful thread to kind of draw the outlines of these lines, and just in certain spots. And what it's going to help me do a couple things. Number one, it's going to disguise the pencil marks. Number two, it's going to help me as I'm visualizing how this is going to go from darkest red to white in the center, as you can see here. And once I've got this done, I'll be all ready to start adding. And to add, and this again, this step would be optional. To add, I'm just going to take a needle and thread and sew buttons, beads, sequins, whatever I find in my treasure trove of embellishments that are in the right color. So you can see here, I've got my needle, I've got my thread, and I've just tied a knot in one end and looped it through so that there's no loose threads. It's just going to be one. Because I've tied it in a knot in this way, it's going to be a double strand of thread for security. It's going to help really get everything locked on there. And then I'm just going to pick one thing at a time and go. Now, I did a combination. I did start with some bigger items and some items that I really wanted to have. Like you can see there's a little bird there. There's a striped red button on there. There's a felt heart that I had cut out previously that I wanted to add on to here. So if there's items you really, really want, get those on there first. Then you're going to work larger items to smaller items for the most part to fill in the spaces. My other tip here would be either go around the edge or go up and down so that you're not running tons and tons of thread on the back, just getting point A to point B. Try to work in an order so that things are fairly next to each other as you go along. I think that works out really well so that you have minimal thread running all over the back and maximum fun. And as you can see here, this is a very repetitive process. You're just poking your needle through that felt and sewing on whatever it is you would like. And most of those stitches are going to disappear, but a few of them do still show through, and I like the texture that it adds. In fact, I debated adding additional colored stitching, maybe some various embroidery stitches to fill in spaces, because I think that would look really nice as well. So I'm really loving how this kind of a project can work well. And here I'm stitching on beads. It just could work really well with a lot of different things. For me, I'm using it to use up some of my embellishments. I have some overflowing embellishment drawers that I want to kind of thin the herd a little bit, and this is going to be really fun. Now, a project like this, you can use this felt piece however you would like. I think on a throw pillow, which I've done tutorials for those before, it could be stitched onto a throw pillow. I think it would be really great in a shadow box or mounted to a canvas. There's a lot of different ways that you could use this. And here I'm just showing you up close so you can see how I'm just kind of layering on the different colors, the different textures, the different pieces. There is so much detail in this piece, and it really is a fairly simple piece. This would be a really fun one if you had a craft night with friends or with teenagers that you wanted, maybe they didn't have tons of crafting skills that you wanted to, but you wanted to give them something fun to do. This one would be really fun. Now here it is all finished, and you guys, I mean, I just love how this looks, and I love how the ScanNCut, because I had all those circles, I got perfect hearts. I got perfect hearts all lined up so that all my buttons and all my pieces could be put in a way that the finished product wouldn't look forced, but it had a helping hand. And I just absolutely love how this turned out. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but if you tune into my Instagram, you will find on my Instagram at Craft with May what I ended up doing with this, because I envision it for my Valentine and kind of winter home decor projects. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or requests for future ones, feel free to let me know, leave me a comment, or shoot me an email.